In this video, I am covering things you should never say to your real estate agent to get them to work the hardest for you. Well, this video is probably going to upset some real estate agents, and that's okay because I know your home is probably a large part of your nest egg, and nobody wants to feel taken advantage of when they are going through the home buying process. All right, let's get into this. The very first thing that real estate agents don't need to know is anything about your financial information. Your lender is going to need some of this information, but your real estate agent, they don't need to know your credit score, how much money you make, how much money you have in retirement, how much money that you're going to make off of the sale of your other home. None of this information is relevant to your real estate agent that is helping you purchase a home. The only thing that your real estate agent needs to know is your budget. And they will likely ask you how you're going to pay for the home or if you have a pre-approval. So when you're working with your lender, just ask your lender to write that pre-approval letter to your agent on the budget that you are setting for yourself. It doesn't need to be the full amount that you qualify for. The reason that you do not need to tell your real estate agent what you're worth is you will see as soon as you say a big number, you're going to see the dollar signs go off in their eyes, and you will recognize this agent right away. They will likely start showing you listings that are at the top of your budget or over your budget, knowing that you can go just a little bit further. Remember, agents are paid a commission, which is typically a percentage of the home price that you end up purchasing. So the higher the home price, the higher the paycheck for that agent. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit condescending for a second. If you give me a thumbs up if you're okay with that. I do ask clients about some of their financial information, and like I mentioned, I'll ask if they're paying cash or financing and how much they're going to be putting down. The reasons that we ask those questions is because it's probably going to be part of the contract or the offer that we make on the home. And knowing this information kind of helps protect you a little bit. So that's one reason. The other thing that I ask whether they're paying cash or financing is because sometimes there are better financing options out there. Now, I'm not a lender, but I have been around the block a few times, and I've been able to save some people quite a bit of moolah just by informing them of different financing options out there. Believe it or not, your financing options can really make a huge difference on your future financial situation. I don't have a lot of time in this video to go over this. I'll probably make an entire video on this at some point in the future, so make sure to subscribe. Okay, next on the list is never tell your agent that you're working with multiple agents or you have a family member that's going to write this contract for you. And I know it seems like you would be interviewing agents like you would an employee or something along those lines, where maybe they'd feel more competitive in this situation. But the reality of it is, real estate agents put a ton of time, effort, and money into the job of showing homes, gathering documents, previewing homes, driving around and opening doors, doing research on zoning regulations, all sorts of stuff. And we do it all for free. We don't get paid until a home closes. So if we think that there is a possibility that another agent is going to write a contract, our efforts actually go down. So don't ever tell them that you're working with two agents. So there is one time where you should use two different agents, and that is if you are looking in two different markets. So I live here in Washington State. We'll take like Seattle and Everett. They're about 30 minutes away. Those should be two totally different agents. And the reason is these markets are hyperlocal. How fast homes are selling, what the inventory is, what the rules are, and the regulations, it's all different. And it takes two different agents to understand that. If you have an agent that is telling you, oh, I will show you homes and I will sell you a home in this market, but they've never sold a home in that market, or they don't do a lot of research or time in that market, red flag. This is not good. You need an agent that is hyper local. Okay, while I'm on the subject of agents, you never want to reach out to the listing agent in hopes to get a reduction in your commission. I promise you, they're very likely to offer you a reduction in commission, but this is a very dangerous road that you're going down. I'll explain. The listing agent already has a contract with the home seller, and because they have that contract already written, they owe that seller 100% fiduciary responsibility, which means anything that you say to that agent, even if that agent just shows you the house and you write the contract with somebody else, it's going to be used in the seller's favor, not yours. So with this market slowdown, I've seen some really shicey stuff happen, and going to the listing agent can be very dangerous. Listen to this story. I was representing some clients and they had just completed their home inspection on a home, and they put a pretty significant amount of money into the earnest account. And we got through the home inspection and we found out that there was quite a few health and safety issues with the home. Out of the blue, the listing agent came out and says, "We are not going to negotiate with you on anything that came up on the inspection. And if your client backs out of this contract, they're going to lose all of their earnest money." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And of course, my clients were absolutely devastated. Could you imagine, like, if you did a home inspection and you found out that there was mold or structural issues, and the listing agent is saying, "Nope, we're not going to discount this house at all. And by the way, you can walk away from that $20,000 earnest money if you don't buy this house." It's a really bad situation to be in. I knew this is not ethical or lawful of what was going on whatsoever, and was able to turn the situation around. But without proper representation, this could put you in a very frightening spot. I guess the moral of the story is, if you're going to the listing agent or you're getting a reduced commission by an agent, just know it can really cost you in the long run. To help protect yourself from these kinds of situations, you need to find a reputable agent. And the absolute best way to get a reputable agent is to get a referral from a friend or a family member who has worked with that agent previously, and they can vet them. They can tell you, yes, everything was smooth, everything was good, or maybe there was hiccups and they knew how to turn it around. If you don't have a friend or family member in the area that you're purchasing, the second best thing that you can do is to get a referral from another agent. This industry, your reputation follows you as an agent, and we know who is good and who you want to steer clear of. Referring people to agents across the country is what I do. I network with agents all around, and these are agents that I'm seeing and meeting at conventions. I know they've got great reputations, and if you need a trustworthy agent, if you need that connection, just click the link in the description of this video. I will get back to you. We'll have a phone call, and I will connect you with the right agent that fits your needs. Okay, here is something else that you should know. On these apps and websites that you go and you browse homes on, there's a bunch of them out there, and you click call agent or set up a showing. These agents are not vetted. What these websites are doing is they're collecting your information and data, and they are selling it to whatever agent is willing to pay the most for your information. It's kind of like playing real estate roulette by doing this. There's some good agents out there, and once again, it's just who has deep pockets. I personally do not play into these platforms because I don't really think it's ethical, and I don't like it when my information is sold to somebody I don't know. Okay, the next thing that you don't need to tell your agent is how high you're willing to pay for a house, or whether you're willing to not put in contingencies such as home inspection, or you're gonna waive financing. These are all not good. We were doing this a few years ago when the market was really crazy and we had to have the strongest offers as possible. Most of the US is not in those kinds of markets right now. You should have kind of a bottom line how far you're willing to go on negotiations of a house, but really you and your agent should be writing the strongest offer that has the most protections in it for you to be presented to the seller. And then from that strongest contract position, let your agent negotiate and you can go on from there. But you don't need to leave it all out on the table. at the beginning. Now, as I mentioned, every market is different, and this is why you need a hyper-local agent to really help you navigate how strong that initial offer needs to be. I would say be aggressive, but be really fair as well. I've seen home sellers just not even negotiate or talk to certain buyers if their offer is just way under or not really fair. You might have some agents give you a little bit pushback on writing an offer that they feel is too low or a little too aggressive, but they don't want you to know this. Agents have to write and present any offer that you ask them to write. So if your agent is telling you that they're not going to write this offer, move on to the next agent. Okay, the next thing you don't want to say or do, this is more of a do, but you don't want to talk too much when you go inside a house. You get inside a house, you're out, you're looking at beautiful properties out there, and you walk in and you're going to have an initial reaction. It is either going to be like, oh my goodness, what did they do with their decor? Or you could absolutely love the home. Try and refrain from these emotions because the walls have eyes and ears these days. There are so many hidden cameras everywhere, and you just don't know who is watching, and you better believe that this information that they capture on these videos is likely going to be used by the seller's agent and the seller in their favor. So regardless of how you feel about the home, make sure that you're not really making any comments until you are outside of that home, away from any sort of earshot, and then you can have that conversation with your agent. Well, thank you for joining me this week. I hope you found this video entertaining. I am Amanda Dallman, your no BS real estate resource, and I will see you next week.